You in this battle, man, I'll soon be dead. I'll glue your face to my dick so I can fuck with your head. I got metaphors coming through my pores. You probably never been in a battle before, so I hope you realize your mistake. There ain't no party, got some candles, this will be a piece of cake.
In the cards for you?
Yeah.
Then we're sort of inappropriately moralizing to be like, no. But if you're cheating on your flesh and blood partner because you're like, the computer doesn't talk back.
Also,
that's
I think
kind of crazy.
And I know this is gonna be controversial, but I do think, like, inevitably it's gonna be, because there's already been lawsuits about like use for child porn or whatever. But like, I do think like there are probably people who like would just channel their energy towards like a sexual relationship with a fake thing rather than even trying to risk an interpersonal one.
See, it's a good thing that actually this is progress because we're not recording yet.
Yes.
And guys, welcome to the 4 Hours podcast.
How much was there before just now? What did the audience hear?
For those keeping score at home, we brought up SA within the first few minutes of the podcast, but in Elia's defense, he didn't know we were recording, right?
No, but I had a gut feeling.
You had a gut feeling that you were?
No, I was just like, we're probably going to start smooth.
Well, because Maxim's getting like real good at the levels. First of all, he understands our dynamic. I yell. You are somewhere.
You're not much of a yeller.
I am louder, especially when I'm performing. But when I'm even talking to just one person, I've had this situation before where
Can I ask this thing where you just put your leg out with no shoes? Is that just how you're going to be doing the podcast?
It makes me feel comfy, dude. You know what I mean? I want the listeners to feel like they're at my home. But it's not my New York City apartment. It's like
you invite someone to your home and say, "Let me kick up my feet."
Kick up my feet, dude.
And then they just stand. And
I'm not going to go ahead and pull my socks off though. That would be first of all, I have calluses on on either side of my big toes, right? So like my calluses are touching right now.
What's that? It's not a corn. When you get that like on the side of your toe, that's a really common thing. It's not like a corn or something.
Ooh.
I think there's like a thing.
A bunion?
Bunion. Yeah.
Paul Bunyan?
Yep.
Dude, I feel like callus on the foot is maybe a Shein thing because my dad has them too. My dad will sometimes, if my mom pays for it, like a gift card on his birthday situation, he doesn't like the manis, but he fucks with a petty.
Yeah.
He'll get a petty till the cows come home.
Would you say your dad's a petty file?
Hell
no,
yeah,
but seriously, is your dad a pot chop?
There's some things I don't like to talk about in my personal life.
That would be funny if that was like a real thing we just had to keep off.
Dude, that is someone's life.
Oh yeah. I know my brother's had a friend whose dad was yeah.
How do you come back from that?
I don't think you do. I think you do your whatever your prison term and then you're just struggle to fit in society because zoning laws make it impossible for you to live anywhere or get a job.
It's kind of crazy. And if it's someone that close to you, do you visit them in prison? Do you maintain a relationship, or is that like?
I'll tell my dad right now, I'll still love you and I'll visit you in prison if it turns out you're downloading child porn onto your computer. I love you, Dad. I know you're not a bad dude.
I think that is unconditional love territory.
But you're not willing to do that for your own father.
I know I would.
Okay,
I don't want to get written out of the will.
So can you do it now? Publicly, let the public know that you would support your father.
Wood is as someone that used to be a lawyer, you understand that could put me in a situation.
No,
you know what I mean?
What's the situation? That you're saying hypothetically, if your father was arrested for downloading child pornography, you would say, "I still love you, Dad, and I would stand by your side."
Yeah,
you're not willing to do that hypothetically, even.
I think hypothetically I will. Now I just said hypothetically. Yeah. So this can't be used against me. You know what I'm becoming right now? One of those fucking sovereign citizens.
Yeah.
I am using the magic legal words and I think that they're working.
But what is it you think could be used against you though?
I think that maybe so let's say my name is John, right?
Okay.
And my dad's name is John. So I'm John, right?
Okay.
And then John Jr., because I'm John the Third.
You're John the Third?
Yeah.
It was like Hank Williams Jr. type situation.
Yep.
Okay, we have Hank Jr. situation. I got you.
Mm-hmm. So I'm John the Third, right?
Yeah.
Now John Jr., he gets locked away, right? And he goes, I'm writing you out of the will unless you say what you said you would say on the podcast. And I'm like, listen, that was a hypothetical. Now I'm in the real shit. And I don't know. And then that's a breach of contract where he could write me out of his will.
It's not a contract.
It's my understanding. Listen, you used to be a lawyer, but you're not now, which means we are on equal standing.
I haven't forgotten the thing.
No. Now, since you've been disbarred,
Yes.
listen, you and I now have equal merit as far as our knowledge of the law.
Okay.
It's true.
I just don't know why you're not willing to stand by your dad in a hypothetical.
Listen, it's
like that seems odd to me.
I always think of the Jim Jeffries bit where he says, "My mom says I love you unconditional," and I always think, what if I cut one of her tits off? You know?
Yeah.
And it is, well, and then you get into territory where like, oh, I never stopped loving this person, but they're cut off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's say you're close with O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
And that little orange juice fella kills somebody, right? Gets away with it. And he's like, do you want to hang out? You could be like, hey, I'll never stop loving you. I love you unconditionally, but you're dangerous. Like it's not good for anyone's safety to
I'll
be
be
around
honest,
you.
I'm having trouble navigating this just with people who run roast shows in New York.
Yeah.
It's already like, even at the lowest level, it's like, this is a muddy
No.
situation.
And I James and the Giant Peach is an okay film, but I don't know if I want to keep watching it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's crazy, man. I can't get it petty, by the way, because I would kick the poor Korean woman in the face, I think.
Oh, you think you'd snap?
Yeah.
I'm too jittery and like ticklish. I wouldn't be able to do that at all.
Yeah, but to be clear, by the way, not out of anger, out of reflex, out of being ticklish.
I think we all assume that. It's like every time I see an Asian face, my just feet go crazy. No.
I always wonder when I see an Asian person how old they are, and I go to ask them.
Do you have a hard time aging Asians? Do you think they're more difficult to trace? Because I think black people are the most.
Black people and Asians are, they're almost ageless. And the difference, though, I think, is that black people kind of look good forever until they die of old age at 55.
Yeah.
But Asians, they are hot, and then the fucking boom. Now they're an old woman or an old man squatting and smoking a cigarette.
I feel like the Irish fall off super quick.
Dude, well, I'm Irish and I never.
Y'all age like bread.
We age like Irish soda bread, dude. I don't know. Yeah.
You're women folk age.
Yeah, it's the alcohol too.
It's the alcohol? Okay.
Blame it on the alcohol.
I just thought it's like we have to live in a world where you have to be outside and just your skin exposed to the elements can only endure so much.
Now, dude, obviously for those just joining us, you could probably tell from my accent that not only am I born and raised in North America, but in the United States. And Americans have this like, there's a stereotype that a lot of us are obsessed with our genealogy, right?
Yeah.
So to the extent that like someone like me, not me, but someone like me would describe themselves as Irish.
Yeah.
Having never been to Ireland.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I will say when I'm walking outside and it's particularly sunny, I can kind of feel like I'm not supposed to be here. Like I am supposed to be in a dreary, rainy place. You know what I mean?
I used to have a joke that I would do. I'd be like, I always feel worse about slavery during the winter because I'm like, this was never supposed to be the case. Like you're not meant to wear parkas in Brooklyn. You should be sunning yourself on the savannah,
dude.
But obviously, I'm glad that you're here, and I don't want to send anyone back. Obviously,
yeah, that's
actually like I wish slavery never happened, but I'm glad you're here. I don't know what a good way. How do you thread that needle?
I think you're pretty into it.
I think I know it.
I think the needle is out the door. The needle is in another universe at that point.
Fair enough.
There is something really fun about being a stand-up comedian and you're doing one of your, and I get into this territory too.
And we call them skits in the biz.
When we're doing our little skits on stage, when we get into a territory that is really bad and it's working, like people are covering their mouths, but in a, oh my God, I can't believe you went their way. That feels so good. But the fucking risk you have to take is that everyone in the room thinks you're a psycho and they want you to leave.
That is inherent. That's why it is riskier to do comedy like that. Like I know it's like hacked to say like being edgy, but like it is that you are on the like you're taking a greater risk. We all take the same risk going on stage. Where if we're not funny, we're embarrassed for not being funny.
Yeah,
you're taking the added risk of offending people by trying to be funny in a way or about something that people don't want to hear.
And every type of comedy has the risk, right? Because if you're a clean comic and it's not funny, then people leave thinking that you were boring.
Yeah.
But if you're edgy, people leave thinking that you're problematic.
Yeah.
And if you're left wing, right wing, then if you don't make people laugh, the people that are on your side would be like, yeah, but he was making some good points. And the
Yeah.
people that are not on your side are going to be like, oh,
Yeah, if you're
this is just preachy.
That's probably a nice thing about being a political comic, because at least people have something to latch on to support you. I
Clapter.
can't. People say, well, he wasn't good, but I appreciate that he wanted to talk about those things. Like,
Right. Yeah.
that's dumb. Just be funny.
Dude, especially when I was starting out, dude, all I had was like my weird pubes. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm a relatable guy that, you know, he struggles with, you know, being an adult and his pubes are weird. And people, like, if it didn't go.
How much of your early material was pube space? Because that's the only example you're giving me so far.
my first joke, or one of my first, it was definitely included in my first 5 minutes I did, like, at my first open mic, was I had sex, and that night I went through two condoms. I went through 2 condoms that night. That's right, because I lost my erection twice, right? People,
That's a good bit. That's a good open. That's a
really?
good,
Should I bring it back?
I mean, I laugh now.
Dude, I'm thinking maybe that is, I'm sitting on gold, and just because the first few times I said it, I didn't know how to do comedy.
I've always said that you peaked 8 years ago. Which I think is before I might have.
Yeah, dude. I mean, if you want to talk like collagen in my skin and stuff, then you're correct. But there's other things.
Look, I only want to talk about skin color.
Yeah, dude.
I think it's the only thing that matters.
I mean, if there's someone that should talk about skincare, it's me.
Yeah.
You know. But I don't actually. I was talking to an Uber driver the other day because I was in his car.
It's good. You were just leaning over through the window, like a toll booth.
Well, there is an app like where you just talk to the Uber drivers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's gotta. Oh, if that's not a thing.
Are you talking about just a hotline, like like the '90s call, like dating hotline type
So
thing? But for
here's the
Uber
thing:
drivers?
you're severely disabled, right?
Yeah.
There's nowhere for you to drive to, right?
Okay.
You can't even drive to somewhere you don't have to be and then take another Uber back because your colostomy bag will get so full. Even in that 10 minutes, you have this terrible disease, right?
Okay.
It's called shit a lot disease.
Okay.
Yeah, shit a lot is a German word for shits a lot. So, but you want the experience of being in an Uber still.
Yeah.
It's fun. You know, is he going to be a chit-chatting guy? Is he going to be a guy that just, because there's 2 types of Uber drivers, right? Like one time I got in this guy's Uber and he was from Africa and I asked where he was from and he said, I just drive the car. And I thought that was very cool.
That's very fun.
Yeah. I'm like, can't argue with that. And then I got this kind of Midwestern-y guy and he was like, so what's your deal? Who are your guys? You know?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, you know, there's usually no in between.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think in that situation, that's where like VR goggles would just come in handy. Like, I'm just going to experience the world from my paralysis, sitting in the couch and just living that way.
Yeah. And I mean, so if you're that very disabled guy and you're like, I want to experience being in an Uber, but I have nowhere to go. And it's free. That's the thing. Is this Uber simulation is free with ads.
I told you that there's the Anne Frank simulation. There's a VR of going through the Anne Frank house. Like you can do a tour of it.
Really?
Through VR. Yeah.
And in this version, she's 18.
I'm sure someone probably hacked it. I don't know what the word is for modifying the software, but made it so you can have sex with Anne Frank you have to have it really quiet.
You have to
That's
be
the game.
so
You have to be
quiet,
so quiet.
right?
It's a decibel reader.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely one of the more tasteless things we've ever had as a concept.
Yeah, I
think,
can't
come
believe
up.
you brought it up.
Well,
I can't believe you started this riff.
you threw the ball and I hit it.
I had your balls in my hand and I was jiggling them.
Yeah.
So anyway, what's going on with this Anne Frank thing?
Just like it's a VR tour instead of like you can do a 3D tour of a place.
Okay.
And it's of the Anne Frank house.
Oh.
So if you're not able to go to Amsterdam to see it,
Uh-huh.
you can enjoy it from the comfort of your own home.
How with this VR is going to be like more realistic. I mean, technology increases exponentially, right?
Well, I can't wrap my head around all that busy science talk.
I learned exponentially a few years ago, and I'm like, that's fucking. Ooh.
You didn't learn it in like a math class?
It makes me sound triple-digit IQ, dude.
Yeah. Do you think you're double digits?
Well, that's the thing. I heard someone online, I forget who it was, but they said double-digit IQ, and I was like, double-digit and triple-digit is 99 and 100, which is both average.
Yeah.
So it tells you almost nothing about the person.
Yeah.
I guess triple-digit IQ means that they are not disabled, and double-digit IQ means that they are not really smart.
Yeah.
That's all you could derive from it.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And I actually took an IQ test one time, and I got. I remember because it was Matt Marin, Ben Miller, and myself, and we all took it. And Ben got 120, which makes him one standard deviation above the mean, which I believe that he belongs to.
Okay.
And Matt got, we both got 10 something.
Okay.
I know mine was the lowest. And I want to say his was 107 and mine was 105.
Okay.
But also the numbers 3 and 9 are in my head.
Okay.
But mine was at least 2 points below him regardless. And I was like, yeah, that sounds about average. I feel average intelligence wise, you know?
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but what was the technology thing you were gonna say?
Oh yes. Well, that's the thing about being double digit IQs. You forget what you were talking about sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how soon we're going to be to like really an immersive experience where you put on your VR goggles and you feel like you were in China.
Yeah.
To the extent that wanting to go to China is weird. People are like, why? Just put on the goggles, you know?
That's interesting. I think that there'll still be some early phase where there's like just knowing that it's not the authentic experience is enough, but then eventually it is effectively meaningless. What's the difference between real China and this ultra perfect simulation of China?
In fact, it could be like, it's interesting because with VR goggles that are so immersive that it feels like you're really there, you could go to quote unquote dangerous places, right? But not be in danger.
Yeah.
And then how far do you go with that? Because you can make the argument, even if you're an American, you go to a country that's even safer than America, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, people can tell usually there's a way about you that you're not from there.
Yeah.
And being an other makes you at least more vulnerable to being pickpocketed or scammed.
There was a philosopher in the 20th century named Saul Kripke. This is the random thing I remember from my college days.
Okay.
But he had a thing about like a thought experiment about like if you were able to manipulate the sensors in a person's brain that are causing them to feel pain, what is the difference? Like, are they experiencing pain? Because there's not an actual thing that's sending a message to the brain.
Mm-hmm.
You're just triggering the part of the brain that creates a sensation of pain.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's the meaningful difference between those things from your perspective if you're experiencing the sensation experience the same way, but it's obviously not the same stimulus. And so like we take comfort in the knowledge that there's a real world, but that only takes you so far. But like if the fake world is if your brain, your body is responding exactly the same way as if it was in the real world, it doesn't really matter at that point.
Right. Yeah. The experienceness of consciousness is the most important.
Can you imagine if someone like watched the first 2 minutes of this podcast and then just randomly for 20 minutes?
Dude, the idea that someone is skipping through the video like it's a porno is very
maybe
funny.
they're like, I don't like them talking about this subject.
Yeah.
And then cut to us talking philosophy.
Dude, by the way, I brought up porn. Our first video that I tried to upload to Pornhub
Oh yeah.
was not approved because it was quote inappropriate.
No,
and I've been thinking about that all day.
So funny, really. That's so funny.
So, okay, I am officially a porn star because I got a Pornhub account, and they're the most strict, which makes sense because they're the most popular one, right? So they were like, hey, you need to prove that you are, over 18, and so they asked for my passport photo and a face verification, which means
that's a lot of
there's
info.
That's very funny.
I don't know
me.
if I've given my passport information to Pornhub.
That's okay. I mean,
I guess I picture him. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think they would misuse it only in the way that like Pepsi or Halliburton.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So then I uploaded our full podcast without editing the dicks out. The first episode I got this idea from. I was like, where can you show dicks?
Yeah.
Pornhub.
Yeah.
Right. And sent in my stuff, took 48 hours to get verification.
Okay.
Which makes sense because I mean they're the most busy website in the world, probably.
Yeah.
Right. That's not involved in cybersecurity and not the dark web, the most Silk Road and then Pornhub. But then I uploaded the video and they're like, it's going to be reviewed. And again, it took 48 hours. And then I got what looked like an automated response.
Yeah.
And it has the whole thing like you could blah, blah, blah. I think what happened because they asked me for two options. One, are you a solar? Are you a solo artist, right?
Yeah.
Like, is it just you baiting? Or is it you and another performer? Now, I thought to myself, it's very unlikely that Elia sends me his passport photo. Actually, you would have to do it. You would have to create your own Pornhub account, and then we would collaborate.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Because you need to do the passport photo and your face verification.
So corporations can't have Pornhub accounts. It needs to be an actual specific person.
Unless you're, I think, actually, you know what? I bet if you're an actual porn company,
Yeah.
then you probably send each person's verification as an employee, I would guess.
So if we send it as like, if we incorporate the podcast,
We got to incorporate,
and
dude.
then we submit it to.
Now,
Pornhub.
dare I say, if we don't do that and you instead become another solar performer,
Yeah.
and then we collaborate, first of all, that's interracial.
Yeah.
For my account, I said that it was I was a bisexual couple.
Okay.
But I think just me saying I'm part of a couple and having another person in my video,
Yeah.
I think they need you're going to have to send your passport photos to Pornhub if we want this podcast to continue. I'm sorry I have to be so blunt about it.
All right. I'm game.
Hooray.
It's fun. All right.
Yeah, we'll see.
Fine. We'll
I mean, I know people have like released comedy specials, so I see no reason why there shouldn't be a podcast.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
And if someone's going to put out an hour of thoughtless material, it may as well be our podcast.
Well, I mean, people say me talking is a bit masturbatory. So
Yeah.
have you ever got a mani-pedi?
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah. And because we were just talking about this, you're too ticklish.
I'm too ticklish.
Yeah.
Yep, that's where the tickles come from.
You know, they say you can't tickle yourself because what makes someone tickle
Yeah.
is like the lack of control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is the thing I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm. Well, now the listener is aware too. Sometimes I say things I know you know or know you probably know, but there's a third listener, and it's you.
Third listener?
Yeah. There's a third participant.
Okay.
I'm dying, dude.
Yeah.
I just turned 35. So now I think it's safe to say I'm in my mid 30s. Would you say 35 is mid 30s?
I would say what with 5 being in the middle.
Yeah.
Between 1 and 10 or 0
It's
and 10.
actually, my dad said a very mean thing to me. He said, you're 35, which means you're in your 36th year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, what were we saying?
No, that's fine. But also you don't really start at 0 like from birth.
Mhm.
Like you've been around for several months at least.
Pro-life Elia Laxon on the podcast.
Let's go with it. Whatever gives us numbers.
You know? Wow, so many podcasters really feel that way.
I would love to. I would immediately shill for.
Yeah.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to say that I wouldn't,
Mm-hmm.
but for the right money, I would happily shill. I would probably anticipating that once I have a certain amount of money, I can then like remove myself from it and then sort of comment on the bullshit.
As long as you don't get caught by lifestyle creep.
What?
You know lifestyle creep?
No.
This is the idea that once you make more money, you spend more money.
Yeah.
And then, I think about that. Like when I first moved here, I was making $30,000 a year. And now I'm like, how did I ever survive
Yeah.
on that amount of money? And I
Yeah.
did. But I think now if you like, God forbid I have to go back to that, it would drive me insane because I'm used to certain.
Yeah, you can never go backwards.
Yeah. But some people do go backwards.
Yes,
But-
they do.
Yikes. Including possibly me. We'll see, dude. You know what I mean?
You think you're gonna backslide?
I don't know. It's hard. Life really is hard. That's a new take from me. I do. Okay. I'm 35. As I do get older, I think feel more compassion for people because I have a relatively privileged life. But even the experiences I've had and the experience of people that I know and people that I've read about and heard about, like life can be so fucking terrible, you know, even if it looks like you got everything, you just don't know, you know?
Yeah.
And it makes me a bit more compassionate, I feel like, which you need in the city because everybody's walking in the incorrect way.
Yeah.
You know,
So you need to be compassionate.
I think, I went from when I was really young, I was like super agreeable. And then I think I overcorrected for a little while.
Okay.
And now I'm like at a good spot. You know what I mean?
You tweaked your agreeability.
So I would say, and this isn't an insult. Could come across as one. What a preamble.
Maybe it's not worth even saying.
Enough of the preambles. Okay. I think by nature of your profession that you're at least like 60-40 disagreeable. You know what I mean? You're more disagreeable than you are agreeable. Slightly.
I think that's probably fair. I'm
Mhm.
just trying to visualize.
So can you imagine if
the
opposing
situation.
counsel was like this, and you're like, "Oh, that is a good point."
Well,
You at least
I
got to
can
not
understand.
say that in front of the jury.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh man, where'd you get that? That's crazy. That happens sometimes. But yeah, no, I get yeah, I think of myself as a contrarian a lot of times, which I think is just a long way to say I'm just a jerk a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. Did you read Letters to a Young Contrarian by Christopher Hitchens?
I did not read that. I think I only read God Is Not Great. I don't think I've read any of his.
God Is Not Great is a good one. Allahu No Akbar is, I believe, the
No, is it Wayne's World taking on the Intifada? It's like more like Allah no.
Dude, hey, listen. For some reason, the largest non-European and non-English speaking listener base that I have on my YouTube channel is from Indonesia. So maybe I'm de-radicalizing at least one teen.
Do you think we have some Tamil Tigers or whatever? Listen, supporting us, some radical terrorist group or like Islamic extremists who are fans of ours.
Can I tell you the worst thing I've done? That's not true, but a bad thing that I did.
Yeah.
I had a roommate in the Czech Republic when I lived in Prague. I had an Indian roommate.
Yeah.
And we didn't get close, but we got past this superficialness of being Craigslist stranger roommates. You know what I mean? So we chat every once in a while. And he's telling me, I forgot how it came up, but he was like, I speak Tamil. My ethnicity is Tamil. And fucking douchebag young Bobby Sheehan goes, like the Tamil Tigers, which was the wrong thing to say.
Yeah.
And thank Christ he laughed.
Okay.
And said the obligatory, I don't agree with them.
To be fair, Tamil Tigers does sound like a third tier softball league.
It does sound fucking.
It sounds cuter than what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're vicious terrorists.
And his response was, terrorism is bad, but I get it. Which is what
I get it.
It's what your average Irish person would say too.
Yeah.
I bet, at least based on the conversations I've had with people, they're like, that's bad, but come on.
I do think it's funny that the Irish call them the Troubles.
It is, isn't it?
It's
silly
such a nice
and whimsical?
little light, harder way to describe coordinated bomb attacks on people.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a spot bother.
Yeah. Oh, bother. You
Yeah.
know. And you look at the Troubles, I think no one fact checked this for me, just accept that it's definitely the truth. But I think I Googled it one time. The Troubles was from like 69 to early 90s, I think.
That sounds about right to me, I guess.
And I think 1,000 people died. And that's within 30 years. So, I got a double digit IQ. So what's 1,000 divided by 30?
It's going to be a little over 300 something.
Yeah, that's like not even one person a day. That's by that logic, Chicago is in their troubles right now.
Yeah.
Not that fucking their city should be taken over by the National Guard.
No.
Sorry, I had to be the first one to bring it up.
Why are you always taking this anti-National Guard? it's always. Oh, I love the National Guard. They're the heroes. They're true first responders.
He does create this weird thing. He 4-5. That's the worst.
Is that a thing?
Well, yeah. People that are like, don't say his name. It's like, fuck, man. It's like Trump is bad. He's the January 6th guy. Not great to have as a leader.
Yeah.
The worst president I want to say ever.
Yeah.
I was gonna say how brave, but unironically on YouTube, which leans right now, is unironically brave. So I'm pretty much the next MLK.
So you're saying in order to do better on YouTube, we should be more pro-Trump?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
But I will say, just to complete this thought, how annoying some anti-Trump people are.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm not surprised that some people are like, just to piss off.
Just to piss off.
Don't say his name 4-5. But it sucks now because he's doing legit authoritarian shit with like sending the actual military to major cities.
Yeah.
But I fear that there's going to be this overcorrection of being like, oh no, taking the subway at 2:00 in the morning is fine, and I'm never scared. It's like, okay, it's not that either. You know what I mean?
But that's not what people taking. I don't think that's what the reaction to the authoritarianism is, because that was already in place. That was already like the I don't know what the reaction would be. Be like some ultra crazy woke thing in the future. Like I don't know how that would work out.
Possibly, Let's let the ex-cons be cops.
Yeah. So I tried the no cops thing, whatever, and then
Yeah. I think, by the way, I brought up ex-cons. My dad he used to work at and I shouldn't say exactly where it was, but it was a retail store where it had a big Target as its logo, but I don't feel comfortable saying the actual name of the corporation. But he used to work at this retail place, right?
Yeah.
And part-time, and they had like a ex-con program.
yeah.
And my dad's like, relatively liberal, open-minded. And so he's like talking to this guy,
Yeah.
and he assumed it was like, low-level drug offense,
Yeah.
was in a gang, but kind of forced into it, like that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So like somehow this organically came up in conversation where the ex-con mentioned what he did in prison. And what he did was choke his ex-wife, or I guess at the time wife. He choked his wife.
Then she became his ex-wife.
And then she became his ex-wife. He said, and this is a direct quote, he said, "The bitch wouldn't die."
Oh.
Which is to me, it's like if he was like, "I choked my wife and I'm ashamed and I'm reformed." But the quote was, "The bitch wouldn't die," which makes me feel like he didn't learn anything.
Probably not.
No.
Doesn't sound like fully reformed, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to work with ex-cons like that. I don't think I know any.
Yeah.
And even though it's stand-up comedy, I think we know people who have done time or whatever. Like
Yeah.
But,
The On the Gate podcast
yeah,
guys.
those guys, yeah.
They're cool.
Derek and
Yeah. It almost motivates me to like have a drug problem, rob people, and then get my act together, and then start doing comedy with this interesting story and also an exciting
amazing,
identity.
how far afield your life can go
Mm-hmm.
in your teens and 20s, and you can still be welcomed with open arms into comedy.
Yeah.
Like you can just fuck up a whole decade of your life and it doesn't matter, because then it's like you can always start comedy as a new thing.
You could always start, dude.
It's great.
But
Very
you
open
really,
minded.
if you want to do comedy,
That being said, it'd be very difficult to someone to be like, I went to prison for rape and then started doing
that's
comedy.
the thing. Yeah. You got to become a famous, untouchable
Yeah,
comedian.
you have to rape
first.
afterwards.
Yeah.
After it's successful.
But if you are like 17 and you're like, I want to do comedy, you should go to college, but go to college in the major cities and do open mics every night.
Or you can just get drunk for the next 15 years, and then when you're 32, you hit a wall, you go to rehab, start open mic comedy.
Don't do that. The On the Gate guys are very funny, but there are so many midlife crisis comedians.
Yeah.
Where it's like my pet peeve is when they go, I mean, what are you going to talk about if you're just a kid? I have all this life experience, and they go up there and they're like, my ex-wife is, I hate her.
Isn't that what that new Bradley Cooper movie, whatever they had the trailer for, and Will Arnett? It's like something about like, is this thing on? It's about, and like Will Arnett's like a comedian or something.
Ooh.
It's like it's this movie about a stand-up comic.
I
And
haven't
think like the
heard
trailer
this.
is something like that, like the guy like going on stage for the first time and like mentioning his like divorce or something.
Interesting. It's gonna have, regardless of the vibe of the show, because there are people that are like, I watch The Sopranos and I love Tony Soprano. Like I love Walter White. They just think the anti-hero is the hero. No matter how this series is written, there's gonna be guys that are like, this is inspiring me to start stand-up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's fun.
I think, dude, if you want to do comedy as somebody that is not successful at it all, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get to your level, dude, but I'm just not there yet.
You'll get there. Well, I'll
Thank
help.
you, man. But here's what I would do. Assuming you're 15, start lifting weights, right? Eat 0.7 grams of your body weight in protein. Don't do steroids until you're 25, but just start working out. Save your money. Join a branch of the military that is unlikely to see combat, which is the Air Force and the Navy, I think, right?
Okay.
Or the Space Force. I don't know what they're doing there, right? Go to trade school with your GI Bill money. Make tons of money working your 9-to-5 trade. If it's not a 9-to-5 trade, don't do it because you need your nights and weekends to do comedy. Make tons of money. Get a jaw implant. limb lengthening surgery, if applicable, if it's better in a couple years.
You'd be a hell of a guidance counselor.
I know, dude.
It's a very specific regimen.
Yeah, but because, dude, if you don't do any of these things and you get pretty good at comedy doing open mics, this is your future. Decide if that's good enough for you. You know,
I like you scared straight up for yourself.
Yeah,
guys, you don't want to end up like me.
Here's
all the decisions I made.
Yeah,
do the opposite of that.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. It's funny because make as much money as you can as early as possible is what my mom told me, and I was like, "Oh, Mom,
yeah,
of course." Of course you feel that you have anxiety for my future, but actually, like, she wasn't correct about everything. She was correct about that.
Yeah,
make as much money as you can while getting 9 hours of sleep a night and exercising every other day. That would be if I was talking to a teenager, right? I'm not.
Yeah,
but if I was a guidance counselor, okay, that's what I would say.
But the alternative is, you can go on a 17-year bender and then just apologize to a few people and start over. And you kind of skipped all the hard stuff, and you just it's just like a cheat code, like you're starting life mid game.
I think that's a little bit of the what's the phrase? The apex fallacy, right? Where you look at the characteristics of the people that made it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just an element of luck.
Yeah.
You should weed out as much of the element of luck as you can when you're life planning, I think.
Yeah.
Because luck doesn't happen to most people, you know. Hey, that was kind of rude to say that you were committing a logical fallacy. Do you want to say any logical fallacies I've committed thus far?
I don't think it's I mean, yeah, I don't know if I guess it's interesting logical fallacy. It is a logical fallacy, I suppose, if you're, it's not a logic thing. It's like anecdotal. There's nothing that's not illogical in it. It's just a presumption or something.
Yeah, I think there's an element when you're chatting with somebody that you got to turn down the logic a little bit. You know, not you and me, because you and I have the level of autist where we could just chat about whatever and it's Gucci.
How is that autist? I don't get that.
I kind of go with the new, if anything's a little unusual, call it autistic. Because we have a few more years before people are like, you shouldn't say that. Oh, yeah. And I believe in getting as much in as I can before people say
like a guy getting all his N-words out in like the early 2000s on a podcast. It's like, I bet 10 years, this is not going to be, can't do this anymore.
See, and people say like, oh, if you're white, you can't say the N-word. And that's not true. You could say it between 1619 and 1964. Yeah. Right? Now black people get to say it for another amount of that time. And then after that, it's Asian people's turn. Although, actually, I was listening to a rap song today. Oh, yeah? And have you seen the movie Gran Torino, speaking of the N-word?
I have seen that movie.
Right.
Yes.
So I was watching Gran Torino for the first time when I was a teenager. I was at my friend's house. And my friend pointed out, because we were watching closed captioning for some reason. And you know how closed captioning will not only tell you like what people are saying, but like the sounds that are happening. The music that's like if a song plays, they'll say like, this is the name of the song that's playing. Yeah. And it was from a rapper named Buddha, right? Like Siddhartha, right? And the quote was, all my Hmong motherfuckers. And it's motherfucker spelled like AZ at the end, you know what I mean? Hmong is an ethnic group.
Like the HMONG. Yeah.
Yes. And I know that they were an ethnic minority in Vietnam. In fact, I only know this because of Gran Torino. They were on the U.S. side during Vietnam. Oh. Yeah. But I think they also live in other South.
They're in Thailand, Asian countries. I know.
Yeah, I think. Well, you know what's weird? And don't tell your average leftist this, but communists, when they take over, they hate racial minorities. This is a weird thing, yeah. Because the coalition of like pro-Americans during Vietnam, aside from the South Vietnamese themselves, were like anti-communists, religious and ethnic minorities. Yeah. Because even though like the central tenet of communism is we're all equal and it should be like the proletariat doesn't have a race, ethnicity, whatever. It's something about totalitarianism where they just like, nah, dude, we love discriminating. We can't just do it against the aristocracy and the petty bourgeoisie. We have to do it against everybody. You know. Anyway, I was watching Gran Torino. I was watching, and the song came on, All My Hmong Motherfuckers, right?
Yeah.
And I hung, I'm probably saying it wrong, correct me in the comments, but I looked up
How
the
do you
song.
correct pronunciation in the comments? They just write
That
out
is true.
phonetically.
Well, you could do that. Thing is, whenever you look up a word in the
Yeah.
dictionary, it says how to say it phonetically, and
Yeah.
I'm like, but I don't know how the alphabet.
No one
works.
taught us that part. Okay, switch it O with a line.
It's so annoying too, because like when I lived in the Czech Republic and I was learning Czech, which is a difficult language to learn, as are all Slavic languages, but to their credit, they don't have silent letters.
Okay, that's nice.
So if you were like a Czech
That's
speaker,
so funny because the name of the country in English
yeah.
is CZ.
So, but like, what sucks is like if you're from if you're raised with a language, where you don't have silent letters, and then you're learning this new language, and they're like, sometimes the letters don't mean what you think they're gonna mean. It's well, fuck, man. But anyway, I was re-listening to that song, All My Hmong Motherfuckers, right? And it's like a gangster rap song, because in the movie, it's these like thug Hmong guys, and they're listening to it in the car, right? So I'm like, okay, this is like gangster rap. So I like. Was listening it today. I was listening to the song, and he says the N-word.
Okay.
Now, granted, he doesn't say it like a black person says it. He doesn't say like, hey, my colleague, but he doesn't say colleague. What he says, and I'm not going to say exactly what he says, but he says, the vibe of the song is like, we're in the ghetto and we're oppressed by the white man, because they figure put the Chinese people and the black people together and let them fight. But he says the actual word.
Yeah.
And it could just be it's an underground song. People don't really know it. But it could also be like, well, he's not white and he's saying it. You know what I mean? And I have heard Asians, and when I say Asians, I mean Southeast Asians, but also like Indians, Middle Eastern people.
Yeah.
In America, say it like black people say it. It's kind of interesting.
And there's the Dead Kennedy song, Holiday in Cambodia, where on the record he says the word, but I've seen clips of him playing it live, and I saw him once live. I don't remember how he did it, but then he just says blacks instead of. But in the original lyrics, it's the word. But it's also important that it is the word. Like it makes sense in this context of the song that it should be the word, and it's kind of a shame that it's kind of the thing, because like it's more powerful if you say the word. That's what the kind of relevant to the song.
I can't remember if I talked about the birth of the N-word on the podcast before. And I don't mean the actual word. I mean the phrase, the N-word.
Yeah.
It comes from basically the OJ trial.
Oh, well.
Pre-OJ trial, white people were using that word academically and no one got upset.
Okay.
Bill Clinton, as president, said it.
Oh, wow.
And he said it in the context of racism.
Just casually. Getting blown by Monica Lewinsky.
I mean, he was the first black president. No, but he was using it in the context of like, racism is bad. Even today... a black man could be called the N-word, but he says the actual word.
Yeah.
But then...
Which is how adults would be able to have this conversation.
But then O.J. Simpson is on trial for murder, right? And even for our non-American listeners, I don't think I have to explain the racial politics of that trial, right?
Yeah.
So Johnny Cochran, he's a black attorney representing O.J. And then Marsha Clark is white, but his her co-counsel was a black man, Chris Darden, I want to say his name.
Christopher Darden.
Yeah. And he had the jury sequestered and was like, can you tell Johnny Cochran that he can't talk about the cop Mark Furman saying the N-word and saying the word, because the majority black jury is not going to be able to dispassionately decide things.
Yeah.
And then Johnny Cochran, because he's smart, he went, the judge was Asian, if you're curious, and he went, Judge, that is so patronizing and stupid, but he knows what he's doing. And then so Chris Darden started saying the N-word.
So not only did they fail to convict OJ, he ruined all our fun conversations. That's a goddamn tragedy. If I had a time machine.
Isn't it interesting? There's people that would get, and this isn't everybody, and it's not all black people, but there is a certain subset of people left of center that get upset when non-black people say that word academically.
Yeah.
And some of those people are old enough to remember a time where there wasn't a problem.
Yeah. Also, there's saying the word academically. There's also saying words that sound like it or are variations on it.
Don't even say that word for stingy. Don't do it. Because I'm your friend and I love you, Elia, and I don't want you to say that the synonym for stingy.
But what about like if you're laughing mildly at something?
Oh, also you're not you if you're hungry candy bar. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, and I was just in the UK.
Right.
The UK has a way of saying pants that sounds dangerously close to that word.
Ryan Stout had a really great joke. It was just like, it's like, in fact, I hate the word so much I won't even say vinegar.
Bo Burnham, who has since like kind of went off the deep end in terms of leftism, if that's even a word. He was like, when I say blank, you say blank. And he went, I like salt and vin, and then he had the audience say it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what a great bit. And then like a few years later, he's like, I must apologize.
What did he?
For my...
He like retracted that? Like,
did you
in a special or just like a thing?
Not specifically, but have you watched the Inside special?
No, I haven't. I heard it's great things. I just haven't seen it.
It's brilliant. He cries twice, and I'm not comfortable with a man crying once.
Do you think he cried twice during all the tapings?
Yeah.
It's like show the best. Let's choose the cry from the Friday late show.
Yeah.
And the Saturday early show.
But basically, he's like he really, and this was happening in 2020 to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think he exaggerated what it means to be a white person in America. Particularly annoying because his dad is at least a college graduate. I don't know exactly what he did, but it kind of rubs me the wrong way when an upper middle class or even more wealthy white person goes like, and us white people have all this privilege. It's like, well, not all of us, come on. And also it's like, dude, because he had this song where he was like, I was young and I didn't know that some of the jokes I were making were wrong. And it's like, no, dude, you were making jokes. It's fine.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah, that's self-flagellation. It's lame. It's just like,
and you know what it is? It's because he became rich, wealthy, moved to LA. I'm sure he has some black friends, but they are left of center, wealthy black people that probably he's not hearing a diverse range. He's not unloading trucks. Yeah. And hearing a black guy go, miss me with that gay shit. He's not hearing that.
Yeah. I'd love to have an arch conservative black friend. That'd be a fun addition.
That actually is such a wanted identity that...
Can we hire a token black conservative for this podcast? Like, we're not a political podcast, but every once in a while you cut to a black guy in a bow tie. And he says some anti-abortion stuff. Mm-hmm. It's just like a feature on the show. That'd be great.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
But life is crazy, man. I mean, we're on this rock, the third rock from the sun. If a sitcom has taught me anything about a scientific fact, it's that one.
That we're the third planet from the sun.
Oh, isn't it third rock from the sun?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that we're the third planet. I thought, for a second, I thought you were saying, no, Bobby. The name of the show is Third Planet from the Sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't work as a name.
I don't know.
That's actually that's a kind of a long name for a sitcom. Third Rock from the Sun.
It has that vibe of like, you know how some like post-hardcore bands are like, I stubbed my toe.
Yeah. I stubbed my toe.
I stubbed my toe on
ellipses. Or ellipses, I stubbed my toe.
Yeah, it's either that and like, I feel like a lot of SoundCloud rappers are like the opposite of that, where they're like, my name is Pac.
Yeah. This whole generation of like where it's like the $sign and like the less than symbol. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
It's more confusing now. Yeah. It doesn't help anyone.
Everyone's named after that one child of Elon Musk, basically.
Yeah.
Dude, that was before he was like off the deep end politically, where he was just being like weird.
It's so funny what a dweeb he is.
He's always been a dweeb.
I know, but like how desperate he is to not be.
Dude.
It's really funny.
It's odd to me, and I know like maybe this is a thing of like, we'll see if you're in that situation, you might feel differently. But if you gave me never have to work again money, I would simply go out to dinner with my friends and exercise and watch movies and never take the subway and take first class on airplanes. It wouldn't be.
You wouldn't even get your own private plane.
No, like, I think first class is good enough.
You want poor people to see you being rich.
Yeah. Dude, listen, if I was a better person, I would never have that fantasy of watching all of the coach people walk by.
I can't wait till we get to that level in our career. where someone's flying us out and we get to be up front.
It is interesting when you walk by first class, because the one thing people have in common, I would like the most common characteristic of someone in first class, and it's not surprising, is that they are at least middle age, if not older.
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like when I see a young person,
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the story? I almost want to be like, hey, just real quick, what do you do, or what do your parents do? I'm just so curious.
Yeah, you should have like a reporter's like ID on you, and like a microphone, and be like, quick question, why are you rich enough to afford this?
Yeah. I don't know. You got to figure though, because people dunk on rich people for having a private jet, but like even if you get to fly first class, it is annoying to go through the airport.
Yeah,
and it's annoying to like imagine going through the airport and someone's like, "Can I take your picture?"
I think I told you this before. Like, if I had that kind of unfathomable wealth, I would go out of my way to make sure that no single unpleasant or discomfort ever happens in my life.
Yeah.
I'd have my life completely tweaked to cover it.
Yeah. Well, we talked about on our previous episode where you'd want to be knocked out so someone could brush your teeth for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it's safe to get knocked out, to take anesthesia, a full anesthesia every single night, as long as that was okay and it didn't affect your sleep.
What I think of though, like being rich, and this is hypothetical because it'll never happen, but I think that you'd have to balance between like, how can I be optimally comfortable, but also how do I have privacy?
Oh yeah, definitely that. Yeah.
Because like you probably could have someone like a servant with you literally 24/7, but then that person has to be around you 24/7. And is that weird?
It depends how you operate. You might get used to it or whatever.
And I think, this is lifestyle creep, and I don't even mean this pejoratively. Like, if you're rich and famous, you need to hire security. Like, and you know what sucks about that? And this is kind of a golden handcuff situation where, like, your wealth can go away while your fame doesn't go away.
Yeah.
But you need to pay for that security.
Yeah. That is the thing that sucks. Like, also, like, everyone kind of loves the feeling of like people coming up to you, acknowledging you, or whatever. But I imagine there's a certain point where
a limit.
There's a limit to where your life becomes completely inconvenienced by it. When no one wants that.
I think the moment it becomes inconvenience is when it's no longer surprising.
Yeah.
Like if you're like, I know, okay, hello.
I know that's the thing that happens, but just in my gut, I'm like, I don't think I'd ever get bored of
that. Well,
also,
I think, and there's two ways to look at it. Like maybe it's our low grade narcissism where we're like at all moments, adoration is great.
Yeah.
But also like you and I are in our mid 30s, right? So if we made it now, we would be like 35 years of just doing the thing.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that's why like the Justin Biebers of the world go kind of crazy because they're like, what, 16?
Yeah.
And like, they don't know what it's like to fucking have to be at the name tag place with a name tag on and say, yes, sir, or yes, ma'am. So
you just have to be raped by
Usher, that's true.
And then used by managers.
Not to mention suffering twink death, that poor bastard.
Twink death?
Dude, I like... You ever look at pictures of Justin Bieber now?
I've seen him.
Are you familiar with twink death?
I'm not.
And you know what a twink is.
I know what a twink is.
Right. So
I know what death is too.
Yeah. Good. That was the next thing.
What if I couldn't wrap my head around the concept of death? No one ever covered it before.
I had to explain it to you, dude. You start crying. Should be good for views.
Wait, are you saying they're not gonna be around forever?
I don't know, man. Like, okay, so twink death. Sorry, it's so twink is a young, attractive gay man who's also pretty like slender, a feminine-looking gay man.
Yeah,
usually the bottom. Yeah. Right. You age out of that.
Yeah.
And how gracefully is debatable, but eventually you're not going to have the collagen in your skin of a 20-year-old when you're 50. So it happens eventually, right? And that's sort of a discussion in the gay community that I'm not a part I swear to God, I'm not. But
Stop making me a part of your community, guys. I am not one of you.
just getting fucked in the ass, being like, I don't like this.
I keep trying. I'm trying to be open minded, but I've not enjoyed 1 second.
Guy that's so agreeable slash like concerned about being homophobic or being considered homophobic. You just
It's like, I'm not saying it's bad to enjoy this. I just personally don't get a kick out of it.
But yeah, I think and you know, there's how do I put this? Like Justin Bieber is a pretty boy.
Yeah.
Right. And you can't be a 50-year-old pretty boy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that like if you are a more masculine, handsome man, right, then you could like George Clooney your way into your 60s.
Yeah.
But if you're more a pretty looking man, I don't.
There's a lot of those young like Jonathan Taylor Thomas is like or Macaulay Culkin like. Children don't really have distinct facial features as much. So as a kid, when you find a kid who has one, it's like, oh, look at this kid, aren't they angelic looking?
Yeah,
and they don't age well because it's just not a normal face.
Yeah, and I mean, I personally know guys that were like very, very handsome, and then just went bald, and they're otherwise fine. Yeah, and they can't even handle like the little bit of dip just from losing that, and they're like. Tall, muscular, but it's just like, you have one negative point. Try having several. You know what I mean? I would be lying if I didn't say I didn't experience like a little bit of Schadenfreude. You know what I mean? Yeah. What a good word, by the way. Dude. That's like the one German word you could use and people don't get nervous about what you possibly could mean. That and Gesundheit.
Yeah, right? Gesundheit's a safe one.
Gesundheit's like fun and whimsical, you know? If you start talking about Ubermensch, that's when people get concerned. Yeah. Some people think that Superman.
What if that's what you call the Uber driver? Yeah. That's my Ubermensch Ishmael. He's from Sierra Leone.
So you know how Superman was created by 2 American Jews.
Yep.
Now Ubermensch is just German for Superman.
Yeah.
But I looked this up. There's no like evidence that those 2 guys like were like that's who we're gonna base the superhero off of is the Nietzsche idea of the Supermensch. Yeah. You know, but that would be beautifully ironic.
That would be.
Yeah. And Nietzsche wasn't a Nazi, by the way.
No.
I feel like
he predated the Nazis.
Well, it gets it's almost like saying like, did Christ influence the Nazis?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I feel bad. His sister was a Nazi and Mary Magdalene. Oh wait, no, that's his alleged lover. Well, it could be both, dude.
Like, I think everything Dan Brown writes is a true account of Christian order.
But yeah, the Nietzsche's sister was like, I am a Nazi, and I'm going to convince everybody my dead philosopher brother was also, and like hid the writings where he was like, Jews are cool, because that's the thing. He was like, there's going to be a super type of person, and you know who's super close to that? The Ashkenazi Jews, God bless them. They were like so smart, and so I imagine being a Nazi and reading that, and then you're like, all right, just cut out the last paragraph.
To be fair, if Nietzsche had lived long enough to see like LeBron James or something, you'd be like, okay, they got him. There definitely is a Superman. They nailed it.
Yeah, it is so funny to watch like pre-black people being in the NBA, and it's these dorky, like skinny white guys with the socks going up to their ankle, throwing the ball.
I'm sorry,
like
when
this.
The game had integrity, Bob. Yeah. I'm sorry if some of us prefer style and decorum.
Yeah,
you know, I just think it was a more respectable time, and the players were more civilized. I'm sorry.
Yeah, high IQ basketball, some would say. Yeah,
triple digit IQ.
Isn't it funny that some people aren't even that good with their dog whistles? You know, it's like get better with them. You know, so it's like subtle, and people don't realize.
What's the subtlest dog whistle?
Oh, I don't know. The problem is with the term dog whistle is some people apply it.
Yeah, to things that
where it does, like if someone goes, I want to live in a safe neighborhood, they're like, we all know what that means. It's like, I think you're projecting if you think that means what you think it means. You know what I mean?
It's like, oh, you don't want there to be any black people there. Saying, did I say?
Yeah.
I just want to live with the nice ones.
Yeah.
That's too much to ask.
Yeah, the nice ones. Nice ones is probably a dog whistle.
Ones? Is that right? I like the nice ones. The house ones? Yeah. The nice house ones?
That's actually, do you remember Bill Maher getting in trouble talking about?
With Ice Cube or whatever. Yeah, it's funny.
With Ice Cube?
I think it was Ice Cube. Oh no, he apologized. He apologized to Ice Cube on the next episode. Like he did a
Oh.
formal thing, and Ice Cube was on the next episode. And they had a whole episode about it where he talked about
That's fascinating.
yeah.
Because Bill Maher seems like the type of guy that like wouldn't apologize.
I don't think it was like a full throated like apology, but like it was an acknowledgement of it.
See, I'm a Bill Maher stan. He's one of my guys. You know what I mean?
Really?
What I like about him is he does admit when he does.
Everyone hates. Everyone seems to despise him.
Yeah, I like him. I think he and I align politically in a lot of ways, right? Just being like slightly left of center. Possibly.
You also love black hookers, and I feel like you align in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Who was the actor that got caught sleeping
Grant.
with him? Yeah, Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
And what was funny about that is people are like, first of all, yeah, Hugh Grant's above her looks wise, but she wasn't like hideous.
It wasn't a trans fellow?
No, so you're thinking of Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy was a trans woman. Hugh Grant, it was a cis woman. She was a black woman, which in the 90s was something you could still talk about. And people said
Really?
she was unattractive, but really she was just average.
It was like as a kid, I remember they say like transvestite or something along the way.
I think you're meshing the Eddie Murphy thing. Did I say Eddie Griffin
Eddie
first time,
Griffin.
by the way?
Eddie Griffin? By the way,
Eddie Murphy got caught with a trans sex worker. That is true.
that I do recall now, but that was before our time. I think. When was that?
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant was like 94, 95, 96.
Hugh Grant was caught with a cis woman sex worker. She had children at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would really ruin the day, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, they weren't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I got what you mean. She was a mother.
Imagine you're meeting up with a sex worker and she's like, and I'm a mom, and you're like, listen, I don't care, but it's weird that they're here now.
Yeah. Wait, it's like, can we put the kids in the back seat? It's like,
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah. At least another room.
It's like when Forrest Gump's mom fucks the principal and he's just in the next room. Like, oh, he's on the swing outside.
Poor guy. Hey, Maxim, are we? I know we started a little early. Where are we at?
1 hour.
Oh, we're 1 hour. Let's
Are we gonna call it quits here? And
let's
then,
say goodbye and then totally not do the second episode right now.
what if we switch shirts so
We
no one
could.
knows?
Guys, we're gonna switch shirts, but for now, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. I'm just playing Night Owls. You know I love you.
Thank you.